All right, good afternoon, folks. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting this Tuesday, May 18th, shortly after we had just finished up our Traders Talks simulcast. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, at least for those that had the chance to join us live, I thank you so much for doing so. For anyone that had missed out, that should be right on our YouTube channel, right at youtube.com/cybertradingu. Great to see all of our students, though, live inside our trading room, that being Bonnie, Leda, Ken, Jeff, Ron, Tim, Kathleen, all of our students. Otherwise, great to see you all. I feel like I never left you. So going into this afternoon, I'm going to just check in on a few trades that we had left off from on the Traders Talk workshop. To begin, obviously, you see the Nikola stock here on my screen. There was a small move up on a few of the EV trades today, Nikola being one of them, Workhorse. What else do we got? Ride, RIDE, that was the big one. Lordstown Motors ended up making a huge squeeze after the market opened. Really didn't take too long to get that going, but ended up making this parabolic move practically off of like 925-ish, 920, exploded off that previous high and ran all the way up towards 11. So, with that in mind, we ended up doing well across these trades today. Nikola, like I had said, perking back up towards the 14 level. A stock that I am currently in right now. It's the only stock I'm in right now. Workhorse, double position actually, 2,000 shares. Now, I was waiting for this move to happen. Caught me a little off guard. I mean, hey, I had my stop limit order set, and thankfully it took me. So I ended up getting in right off this breakout here. I really didn't trade this stock at all today. I was just watching it. I saw it get called out earlier. I thought it was a good potential setup for later on today. I was going to get to this regardless of this breakout here or not, because it was just kind of lingering under this level after several failed attempts of it popping over this $9 price. So, hey, for right now, I'm in it. It kind of looked like a bit of a false breakout at first, because after the move up, I could have locked up a quick 15 cents. But, it's like we talked about from our Traders Talk workshop earlier today. And you know what? I'll bring level 4 up one more time with that in mind. But it's to say when a big volume level gets filled, I'd like to think that we're going to get a pretty big result. So 9 was a really big level throughout the day today. That was our initial major resistance across the market open across the morning. And it eventually broke it right here. Looked good at first for a nice, 15, 20 cent move up, but obviously came crashing back down. Now, that doesn't mean that that this is done and over with, but it's to say if this stock keeps pushing back up through 9, and hey, I could have jumped in here and taken a tiny loss or a scratch trade. Fortunately, I just wasn't really watching this at the time. I came back to it a bit later on. There wasn't really any sort of order on the ask here, so I did avoid this. But hey, if it keeps holding that level nicely or poking at that level across the day, it's not a matter of if, it would be a matter of when. So, here I ended up jumping in off the pop. Like I'd said, fortunately, I had to set up a stop limit order and it didn't skip me. It took me in right at 9. Yeah, 9 on the nose and filled that. So for right now, hey, Workhorse, just to begin, I don't mind putting this on our main watch list, not because I'm in it. I mean, there's a reason I'm in it, but this stock is near the highs. It's up 10%, has a great spread, great liquidity, everything that we would want to find in a stock heading into the afternoon here. So, there have been times where I tell you about positions that I'm actively in at the time, but I don't really put them on the watch list because it's more of like a speculative play than anything. Well, here, I mean, hey, it's not guaranteed that this is going to fly and run, but off of the breakout from 9, it's a very tempting trade. I may get stopped out. We'll see. As I go through the gainers and losers list, this may stop me out right at 8.99. I have a stop set below $9. So, either way, we're going to put this on our list in hopes of this, holding and running up right from here. If it stops me out and pulls back below 9, then hey, I'll definitely be interested in it later on, but perhaps right place, wrong time. We'll see. All right, so getting back to some of the other EV trades, though, like I said, because I have this on our list, let's just check in with Ride. We'll check in with the Nikola trade. Ride, I feel like, is overextended. This thing feels like, the ship has gone and sailed. Ended up making a huge pop yesterday and ran, made a big pop even furthermore this morning. And, it looked good at first going into 130. It was moving back up towards the highs, but a very quick pop and drop. That's the false breakout. And, from there, obviously went south. So, I feel like this trade's pretty much done and over with, but we'll check in with like Nikola, see what else is. Uh-oh, this is shaking. And I just got stopped out, I think, on the, yep, I just did right now. Right now, I got stopped out on Workhorse. Damn. penny loss. I don't care about the penny, but either way, I don't mind keeping Workhorse on our list. Like I'd said, just because it stopped me out doesn't mean that I'm going to scratch this off our list. Maybe just right place, wrong time. We'll see. All right. So aside from the EV stocks, though, we did all right on a couple of other trades. I do want to just talk about a couple of those. First, ULBI, still near the top of the gainer section here. Very choppy trade right now. Nice trend off the lows. You can see I ended up lining the stock up going into the morning here. So a lot of clutter on this chart, but it's to say that hey, the stock ended up holding this purple line really well across the day. Small little break below and back over this $10.20 price level. It was holding pretty nicely throughout the pre-market, at least early on. So it ended up creating a bit of a base later on, broke below it. And then once it broke through this level, on the way up, just like we always talk about, I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but seemingly enough, that's what ended up sparking this whole move up afterwards. For right now, though, the ULBI stock just so choppy, so choppy here. We were hopeful for a nice breakout over 11 going into Traders Talk. We talked about this move, and I said to watch out for the false pop, and ended up doing just that. But ever since, man, this was a really tough trade. I'll keep it on the side. It seems volatile, but I don't know. I feel like we could find better opportunity than this. If this ends up making a big pop while I'm doing this meeting, then obviously we'll come back to it. But we'll see if there's anything looking a bit better. All right, so I may as well just stick on the top of the gainer side here. Number 6, AGEN was the only other one I really wanted to bring up. This just goes to show, right? I mean, this is kind of where we last left off with this stock anyway from Traders Talk, seeing this begin to break down more, ended up failing to break out over the resistance line here at 440. I mean, held 450. 50-cent level extremely well. But otherwise, though, ended up coming right back down. And hey, the stock, although it was coming off of good news in pre-market, that doesn't mean that the stock was moving up going into the market open. This stock was like relatively flat / dropping off going into the market open. So that's what determines my initial thought in terms of its direction. So ended up beginning to make a bit of a squeak up after the open, but look at where it is now. Ended up beginning to re-break below, opening bell print level here at $4.20. Dropped all the way back down, rebroke below 4 here just a moment ago. So, hey, this stock is still shortable. And one thing I'd mentioned from earlier, this stock is on an extremely high float. So, I feel like there could be opportunity both ways still on this trade. If we happen to see just more natural profit taking, then this thing should tank. Otherwise, just if this breaks back over 4, maybe it will make the same type of, little squeeze up like it did from the morning. So, you know what? I don't mind slipping this back on our watch list here, the AGEN stock. Maybe it won't be at the top of the watch list, but definitely worth a look here still. All right, so let's check out the top of the gainers list now. We'll go from top to bottom. ONTX, cheapy, off $1 here. Pretty shaky off $1, the high there. So, I feel like it made a big enough move already. We normally don't trade the cheapies below $1 because, quite frankly, they normally don't make as sharp or as steady of a move. So, ULBI, it's on our side list. Looks like it's kind of perking up to 11 again, but again, it's been so choppy around there. It's just for every time that it tried popping earlier, you would have taken a loss for every time, it tried doing that. This AMTX looked pretty interesting going into 2 o'clock. I forgot about this for a moment, but it was looking really good, obviously trending up pretty nicely throughout the early afternoon, breaking, higher across the day, and ended up topping off right around, what was that, 1290-ish, 1284 the peak, and dipped off. Stock also is shortable, kind of like AGEN, so, it's tradable in both ways in that manner. Let me get my volume bars a little bit bigger. There we go. For right now, again, I guess kind of sideless material, AMTX. Bit of a spread here and there. Tier size kind of thin. I don't feel the need to put this on our watch list just yet. At least AGEN has tighter spread, more liquidity. So relatively lower risk, also a lot cheaper. Ride, again, pretty volatile, at least from the morning, but I don't think it's going to continue popping and breaking higher. So, unless if you could short this, I'd pass. All right, we'll kind of just skim through here now, see what else we got. We had HIMS, 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 Him and Her Health, I think they're called. Yeah, this was trending up nicely, at least going into 2 o'clock, even as late as 2:15 here, but obviously took a big tumble back down towards $10.50 potential support. Just goes to show, I say potential because there's not really any sort of volume that's been traded off this stock today off 1050. A lot of volume traded and filled off the consolidation and eventual pop from 10. So, that could be a support between that, the VWAP here in blue, 1018. Again, I don't feel like a tremendous need to put this stock on our watch list right now. 10 could be a nice bounce spot, but it's pretty far away from where it is here currently. And DDD, another stock that was pretty volatile from early on this morning. This one at least has better liquidity. Dropped off after holding underneath 26, but this could be the point where we see a higher low build, and maybe, and I'm just speculating, but maybe this could be the point where we begin to see this squeeze back up. If that's not the case, then this is going right down to 25. So DDD, I don't mind putting this on our list here as well. It's relatively volatile still at this time of the day, shortable. So like I said, if this does dump back down, it could be an interesting short. Otherwise, if it builds the higher low, gets back over 25.50 and holds above that, maybe, just maybe, that can make the new leg up. Familiar name here, XXII. I guess I skipped over this just earlier. Also beginning to dump back down a bit here. I don't mind slipping this on our list as well. I feel like this ended up making a similar, not too similar. I was going to say, it looked kind of similar to DDD, but obviously not too similar. Ended up making more of a squeeze going into the mid-afternoon here, moving up a little bit faster off of 440. It is shortable, so crapping down the other way right now to $4.50 price. All right, we'll add this here too. We are familiar with this XXII stock. You can just see from the daily chart back from mid to late February. Ended up trading this on the way up, on the way down, and then squeezed back up going into early April. Now, I'll tell you, we're not going to find too much on the gainer side, right? Why do I say that? Well, I only say that when we have a down market. So markets, you can see here, the SPY, the S&P ETF in particular, taking a big plunge so far, practically from like 1:30 Eastern time onward. It's looking like it's approaching the lows from yesterday even. The SPY really didn't do a whole lot yesterday as well. So for even right now, you can see it's practically there towards the low from yesterday, 413.36. Right now, SPY's at 414.44. So, it is pretty much right there. Let's maybe take a look across the losers list first, and then we'll get to some of the stocks that may move with the market, the airlines and cruise lines. I know those were pretty healthy today, but with this drop-off, we'll check back in on them. BTU, what a shame this is. See this make the run that it made yesterday and then just drop all the way back down towards yesterday's open price. Hey, if you could short it, then I would put this on your watch list. If you could short BTU, things down 22+%. Doesn't seem like it's ready to squeeze back up just yet. Ended up holding resistance pretty cleanly off 695 to 7 here and pulled back. Good sideless stock. I don't mind BTU there. It is hard to borrow on TradeStation at least, but FRSX shortable, dropping off here a little bit. I feel like the BTU trade's just a little bit more advantageous to try and trade right now. AT&T. I feel like there's just been too much volume traded on this stock between the last 2 days. Not only today, trading 208+ million shares, but yesterday, obviously, too, off the big pop and drop in pre-market into the open. We talked about the stock too, right? We talked about this trade earlier today. We were talking about this in Traders Talk, holding underneath 29.90 to 30. And I was saying at the time, hey, it's worth the entry to try and buy this stock as it breaks right here off the opening bell print line. Worth the entry if you set a very conservative stop below the level, because if it doesn't pop and run and make the big squeeze upward, we talked about this. The stock's not just going to move sideways the whole day. If it's not going to break out and make this move from this big, strong level, 29.90, and alongside that, obviously, 30, I normally don't buy under a whole number anyway, but it just goes to show if this isn't the move, then it's going to make a move, just not the move that you're looking for it to make. So that's where you can get stuck holding on if you don't think about that. Just otherwise, though, the stock's traded so much volume the last 2 days. It seems like it could be a good short opportunity if it snaps below 29.50 and 29.47, this print line from pre-market. I'm going to pass on it right now because of the volume it's been trading. I feel like most of this move is pretty much done. Even in a tanking market right now, this stock's been holding strong, actually. I thought that said Disney. I need new goggles here. OIS, not DIS. All right, so let me just check in on the airlines here. I want to check in on YouTube also. I'll get to those comments in just a second. AAL ended up moving up pretty nicely after the open, ended up having a bit of a slingshot, at least within the first hour, but ended up diving back off here. Not a whole lot happening there. NCLH making even a sharper drop, I guess, but moving with the market on the way down, nothing really too much to write home about on this one. I am very happy I got out on Workhorse where I did. I got out at 8.99. I told you, I don't care about the penny loss. This would have been bad. I told you right from the get-go, I was in on a double-sized position because I was very hopeful for this to break and run. It looked good. It smelled good. It wasn't good. So you don't want to get stuck holding on like that. I have zero problem coming back to this trade later on today in the next, 20, 30 minutes. If it ends up holding here, popping back up and running off to 9, I will easily reconsider that trade again. But if it doesn't make that move, then going to pass on it. From Nicholas here on YouTube, he says, since the EV trades were moving today, is FSR, look, I forgot about that one actually, ends up popping pretty nicely as well. If you heard me hesitate as I was going through, I was like, I know there's one more that I forgot, and it wasn't NEO, because NEO ended up making a bit of a move today as well, but it was another one I had in mind. Nicholas, that was actually it, so I appreciate you making that comment on YouTube here. So is FSR worth a look? It's on the way down now, unfortunately, right? So I know that you wrote that maybe about 5 minutes back. So at this point, it feels like none of these are really going to make the big squeeze up with the dropping market that we have. Ken says Mavis MVIS, not the company Mavis. We kind of nickname it Mavis. I had someone inside the trading room make a comment on the company Mavis. This is not like Mavis, like car company. This is Microvision. We just nickname our stocks at times. MVIS. So yeah, dropping on the way down at 15, I reckon. Moving with the market. If you do well on this stock day to day, and if you could short it, then I'd say that would be a good opportunity. Clove, same thing, Ken. Nothing really too much to write home about outside the drop in the market. If you're in that trade already, you're probably doing pretty well. The ULBI moving up. There it is, off 11. Is this the move? Is this the move that we're finally going to see here? It's been teasing this pop, this breakout and run off of 11. I mean, really since pre-market here. But we saw big volume getting filled going into traders talk initially here, going into the early afternoon. I called out the pop, and then even after it's pretty choppy, but now it seems like it's starting to make that move up. But don't forget about the resistance levels that we talked about inside traders talk today. That was right off of 11.39, the opening bell print. And then from there, 11.50. So I'll add this to our watch list now with this beginning to move up just a little bit more. I'm hopeful. If it ends up, kind of crapping the bed here and coming back down, we're just going to write this off at least at that point. From P Trader asking about the stock PSFE, up 8% still. Ended up making a nice move from earlier today. I don't know if this is an EV stock, I reckon, but ended up making a nice move today. PaySafe Limited, so I don't think they are, but ended up making a nice run. Just for right now, though, I feel like everything's dropping, so I'm not as keen to look for a breakout and run unless if the stock is really strong to its highs. This was really strong just going into 2 o'clock, but the same was said with a lot of trades. Workhorse, Nikola here off 14. We just watched kind of test that 14 level again. It looked good, but now with this down market, it's just, I'm not really too bullish on a lot right now. AGEN at 385. There we go. So still on the way down, ended up pulling back and breaking lower right here. This might be on the move to 350. If this is our trade of the afternoon, hey, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. I'll take this trade going into the afternoon if it pans out. But if nothing else moves and this is the big winner as it tanks down to 350, hey, don't be too surprised. Ken says he's in from 399. Excellent entry, Ken. Nice. Watch out for the 85,000 share order that may have just popped up here. All right, folks, I think that just about does it across YouTube, Facebook Live. I always appreciate you folks sticking with me here in the afternoons. But for anybody else inside the live trading room, let me know if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than like 5% that we didn't have a chance to check out just yet. Actually, how about this? I'm here in our office in Syosset. I could pull this out today. Very easy for me to do during the meeting. I normally show the highs at the time, but let's check out the lows, see if there's any stocks that are at the lows, breaking new lows of the day right now live. Actually, before I even go further, let's go that. From 5 to 30 bucks price range. Not a whole lot that stands out here. I mean, these are all stocks that are breaking new lows of the day as we speak, but nothing that stands out as a familiar name, so that's fun. All right, folks, I think that we're just about good to go then. Oh, actually, how about this before I part ways with you? I know I showed it yesterday, but it's still dropping back down a bit. I want to show Bitcoin. I ended up adding overnight yesterday. Or actually, not even overnight. I ended up adding as soon as we finished up the day yesterday. I ended up getting in shortly after 4 o'clock. So I got in, it was like practically here. Dipped down a little bit more, squeezed up, pulling back down again here still. I'm not in it for the short term. So this might continue to drop. Like I'd said from yesterday, this might continue to drop down to 41,000. We'll see. I'm still very bullish long term, and I think that if we don't get our bounce extremely soon from now, then just wait a little bit longer. I think it's coming. Now, everyone has their own opinion. So when it comes down to Bitcoin, not only does everyone have their own opinion, but honestly, no one knows what they're talking about in terms of the technology behind it, unless if you've been in the industry, Bitcoin and crypto industry, for like the last 8 to 10 years. Listen, I only know a fraction of Bitcoin itself and the technology that drives it. All I'm providing to you is just chart analysis and the fact that, hey, in the past cycle, we ended up seeing these dips of 30 to 35 to 38%. So, you know what? Hey, from the last high that we had here, 64,000 plus, we were talking about a 33% drop. Well, a 33% drop right from that peak is roughly where it's at now, a little over 43K. It might drop off a little bit more than 33% or however much I said. So, hey, I'll brace for 41K. I'll brace for a little under that even. If it ends up really crapping down that much more after that, I'll be slightly concerned. But otherwise, really, nothing really to worry about here. All right, folks. With that in mind, though, maybe I'll check out Riot and Mara before I wrap up. Lee's asking, did Musk cause the drop? Yeah, I'd say so. Simple as that. And I mean, there's other things that factor in, but he's a big influencer. So, you hear him talk about certain things, people overreact. There was a line I read, and man, I wish I can recite it perfectly to you right now. Check back in with me tomorrow for the exact phrasing. I'll tell you, I'll tell you paraphrasing. It's to say, don't listen to what people are saying. Look at what they're doing with their money. I'll leave you at that. I'm pretty sure that was the full quote, but check back in tomorrow. I'll recite that to perfection. All right. Can I look at PLTR from Soli on YouTube? Absolutely. Absolutely can. Look at PLTR. Great side list stock, by the way. So, hey, I'm not going to put it on our main list right now. I mean, I feel like a lot of stocks look like PLTR with it dropping off a little bit, moved up earlier from today. So if I put this on, I feel like I put everything else on. But we love trading PLTR. It just bounced off of 21 or hovered over 21. So maybe this will look to come back down and drive below $21 here and go from there. Watch what happens when this ends up retesting or testing. Didn't test it yet, but test the bid at 21, this 17 plus thousand share order. Wait to see it break below that level first before looking for a bounce. Obviously, it's bouncing up about 12, 15 cents off this last dip, but I feel like there could be more on the way down with the market dropping off more. So for right now, PLTR, again, moving off the bounce here with the S&P a little bit, but I'd watch for that 21 break first before you try and jump in. All right. Love trading PLTR. Otherwise, though, great side list stock. All right. Ken says, would stay in, but the gym is calling me. Well, Ken, best of luck at the gym, sir. I have a personal training session after the market closes today, so wish me luck there too. Nice short from Ken. He got out at 387 on his AGEN short. He got 12 cents. So, hey, congrats, Ken. AGEN's the type of stock that you could trade a lot of shares of if you know what you're doing. So I hope that you loaded up on that trade, Ken. Double or triple position at least there. All right. For all of us in social media, one more time, if you ended up missing our special workshop today, Traders Talk, our live weekly Q&A that we always host live weekly inside our Cybergroup trading room, we recorded it. We posted it right on our YouTube channel. So go right to youtube.com/cybertradingu if you're not there yet. And it'll probably be the most latest video right there for you. All right, so if you have any questions on that Traders Talk video, I'm actually going to repost my email address for anyone that has any questions as far as what we had covered inside that workshop today. Send over any questions or feedback right over to my email address, josh@ctutrading.com. I say that for all of us in social media because all of us live inside the room, you folks know. All right, so I'm actually just going to jump back on the mic in the next 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to post and tweet the picks just beforehand, and I look forward to talking to all of you folks there just coming up pretty shortly.